FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. Yep, that is FUD. This is one of the biggest blocks to having and living the lives that we really want, and a huge barrier to creating real sustainable wealth. You know by now that creating real sustainable wealth and finally being able to be free of financial worry is not about trying to earn more. It's certainly not about trying to spend more on the things that make us look rich. And everything about having great quality assets doing the earning and working and growing for you and giving you great returns. But just knowing this doesn't necessarily make the investment journey easier. Venturing into new things is scary. What if I get it wrong? What if I lose the money I have worked so hard to, get and save? How do I know it'll work out? The churn starts and FUD, the three horsemen of financial despair, come riding in, ensuring inaction. And this is the greatest risk of FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt cause us to do nothing. And nothing is the most dangerous thing we can do. So what do you do when you realize FUD has ridden into your town? And how to conquer FUD? First is get informed. Knowledge is the greatest weapon against FUD. Learn what investing is. Discover the different asset types that are available to you and how they perform. Create a great portfolio. Understand the principles of successful investing and know how to evaluate these different types of assets and investments to know whether they're good or bad. Learn how to determine if your investments in the portfolio you're putting together is going to get you to where you want to be and give you that financial freedom number, that net worth, that you can just then live life fully on your terms. Know what tax incentives are available to you and use them. This is what you must do. It isn't as hard as it may seem, but remember, nobody popped out of the womb a great investor. Being great with money and investing is a learned skill. Yes, you can quote me on that. So learn. Also learn what is available for you to invest in. Most people never get wealthy simply because they're not trained to recognize opportunities right in front of them. We often don't even know what an opportunity or investment is. And there are so many incredible investments available, different, from whether it's on fractional investing sites to direct simple index trackers, but we aren't taught this stuff. Nor are most of us exposed to it in the world of study hard, get a good job, work hard, earn more, try and earn more, try and save, and hopefully you'll be okay. And then put yourself in environments to discover what is out there in the asset-based world of wealth. And well done for being part of the Wealth Chef world, because this is a great way to get and stay informed. Take action. Doing nothing is the thing you should fear the most. It's very hard to get perspective or even a tiny bit of clarity when we're stuck in a thick FUD soup. And one of my mentors often reminds me, and it's hard to steer a parked car. So we've got to get those wheels moving, get that engine turning over. You don't need to put the pedal to the metal and go flat out at some crazy speed. Even the tiniest movement makes a difference. It lifts that FUD fog. Taking action could be reading a book to learn more. If you haven't yet read the Wealth Chef book, get yourself a copy and read it and just implement section by section. Open an online broker account and just start feeling safer in that world. Get your simple regular index tracker investments starting to happen. Get your will in place. Commit to your debt blitzing plan. Do any small action on your wealth plan to get your momentum going. And then you'll be able to turn that steering wheel so much easier and head towards the freedom that you absolutely deserve and should be living. It's your right as a human. Action clears FUD. And then get support. We must all navigate the paradox that this journey belongs to nobody but ourselves. Yet nobody successfully does the thing called life alone. All of us must make our own way. And we have to create the lives that we want ourselves. And we have to let go of the illusion that somebody is coming to rescue us. We have to accept the truth that nobody is coming. And the reason that nobody is coming is because that someone is already here. That someone is you. You and me, We are the ones that must walk our own path to freedom. We are the ones that must do the work, learn. We have to expand ourselves to create the life that we want. And we are the ones that will rescue ourselves. And with that said, we also cannot do this alone. Part of taking full responsibility of our own wealthy lives is ensuring we have the people and communities in our lives that are supportive and generative. Places where we can feel safe to ask the things we need to ask, to get information and direction from people who've actually done it and just not, wannabes. And we must learn to ask and receive help from people who actually know what they're doing, not other broke people at the water filter. And we must have a place where we feel safe to admit that we're stuck and paralyzed by FUD, but in an environment where people then can help us get out of it, not join us in that stuck place. A place where people you trust will remind us of who we really are and what is important to us and willing to help us take that next action. They hold our vision as powerfully as we do. This is how we get to where we need to go faster. And I hope you're going to take some action towards your freedom and help yourself get out of FUD. So let those 3 horsemen of financial despair be a thing of your past, and they are going to come through, but you can use these 3 resources to lift that fog, move forward, and keep taking those consistent baby steps, because that's how our wealthy lives are created. That's how our glorious, abundant lives are created, by taking small, consistent steps in the direction of our freedom.